So, a couple things before I start reading today. One, doing these lives helps me sort of remember what the date is since I have to type it in. Also, I have my hood on, not for fashion. I'm actually chilly, and it seemed like it would help keep the heat in. Okay, so sorry for the glare, I'm facing a different direction this morning. We are on chapter 8, Super Anonymous by Megan Mercury. Because remember, Mercury's house has the pool in the back that now has the propane truck in it. Mysterious super kid saves home, family. Hardcastle. It had all the elements of a Hollywood movie, a runaway truck filled with highly explosive propane, a darkened home and a sleeping family, completely unaware of the menace hurtling them, and a selfless young hero coming out of nowhere to risk life and limb to save the day, and just as suddenly disappearing into the shadows. He could have been killed, that kid, marveled Stanley Kaminsky, the driver of the propane truck. That tanker hits the house, kaboom. You always hear about these crazy heroes who put their lives on the line to save a bunch of total strangers, but you never expect to see it in real life. This is no regular kid. He's more like a super kid. Super kid? The word kept echoing in my head, usually in cheer form, since that is how my mind worked. 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Super kid, go super kid. Or maybe a spell it out cheer. Give me an S, give me a U. My family didn't have my cheerleader's positivity. Mom was freaking out. Our house was nearly destroyed and us with it. We could have been killed. If that truck had exploded, who knows how big the fire would have been. My kid brother, Peter, was crazy enough to think the whole thing was a fabulous adventure. The town newspaper was paying him $200 for his pictures of the propane truck in our pool. When he saw a photo by Peter Mercury on the front page of Hardcastle Post, he was running around the kitchen, punching the air and celebrating his newfound status as a celebrity. My dad was the worst. He kept glancing out the front window, looking for the next propane truck with our name on it. He was using some form of the word sue. But what would have been the point of that? We were fine. The propane company was paying for the damage to the fence, the lawn, and the pool. Peter was even up $200. Talk about missing the point. Here was my family obsessing over an explosion that never happened, a lawsuit that would never be filed, and a photo credit in a dinky town newspaper that nobody ever read. And all the while, they were ignoring the most important part of this. Somewhere out there was an unsung hero who'd saved our house and maybe even our lives. This was huge. And we didn't have the faintest idea who it was. It was definitely a kid. According to Mr. Kaminsky, the driver, it was a boy around my age, middle school, or maybe early high school. I thought of hashtag right away because he lived just up the block and was such a great athlete. But hashtag slept till noon on non-game weekends, and besides, his arm was injured. Plus, hashtag said it wasn't him. The only other clue was the chair, a metal folding chair at the bottom of our pool. But there weren't any fingerprints on it, which may or may not have been because it had been underwater. The police had no explanation for how it might have gotten there. At school, the buzz was all about the missing hero. Nothing ever happened in a boring town like Hardcastle. She must have forgotten that the year before, a giant globe ruined the whole gymnasium. So a near disaster wasn't something that came along every day. And to that, the fact that the almost victim was popular head cheerleader, go me, and you had really big news, throw a mystery into the mix and nobody could even think about anything else. But surely you know who it is, Vanessa prompted me. Didn't you see him running away or something? I shook my head. The whole family was asleep. I heard a crash when it went through the fence and a splash when it hit the water. By the time he ran outside, there was no one around but the driver. Zayn Minash, one of the lacrosse players, was unimpressed. As far as I'm concerned, the guy's an idiot. He got a chance to be famous, get his name in the paper, maybe on TV, who knows? There might even be a reward. And what's he doing? Hiding like a scared rabbit. Maybe he thinks he'll get in trouble for putting the tanker in the pool, hashtag suggested. Are you kidding? I shot back. Better in the pool than in the living room. There's no way this kid doesn't know what a great thing he did. You all saw what it said in the article in the Post. I must have read it at least 50 times. At the bottom of the page, the very last paragraph. We'll leave you there until tomorrow.